Well, hi friends, thanks for joining me today. Let's see who our special visitor is today. It's Jack. And I see his eyes are watching. His ears are listening. And your body is calm. Good job, Jack. Okay, let's start calendar.
Yippee! It's March 2020. Let's make a calendar. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Now this is something new. So our day today actually begins with the letter S. Saturday.
Great job! Today is Saturday, March 21st, 2020.
All right, well, I'm going to slide the word Saturday. I don't have to go very far. Put it right here. And then let's count all the way to 21. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So we'll slide
21st.
21 over.
Great job.
21 is a 2 and a 1. So let's write that. A 2. Around and back on the railroad track makes the number 2. And then a 1. 1 is fun. It's just a straight line down. 21. All right, and I'll erase that. And that. And off we go. I still haven't heard about any birthdays, and nobody told me they lost their teeth, so we won't be putting anything extra on the calendar. And let's see what picture I'm going to pick. Oh, let's pick this one, because the snow is starting to melt. So there's a little boy trying to pull a little girl on a sled, but most of the snow has melted. All right. And let's do
Goodbye.
months of the year.
The months of the year.
January, February, March, and April, May, and June, July, and August, September, October, November, December. These are the months of the year. January, February, March, and April, May, and June, July, and August, September, October, November, December. These are the months of the year.
And remember, we're in March. Remember, at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of this month, we marched for March. All right, let's move on to the alphabet. And I forgot to introduce our friends, but Frank was supposed to help with the alphabet today. Let's look back and see who was supposed to help with calendar. It was little Addie, and Ryan was supposed to be our months of the year helper. All right, so let me pick a new one. I haven't picked this one yet. We're going to say the letter, the sound it makes, and the picture that it begins with. And we do this every day because it's so important to say it every day, and repetition is the best way to learn. So we say the letter, the sound it makes, the picture it begins with, and soon enough we'll be putting those sounds together to make words, and we'll be reading. All right, here we go. A, apple. B, ball. C, cat. D, dog. E, elephant. F, fish. G, goat. H, hat. I, igloo. J, jar. K, kangaroo. L, lion. M, mouse. N, nut. O, octopus. P, pig. Q, queen. R, rabbit. S, sun. T, turtle. U, umbrella. V, vest. W, walrus. X, x-ray. Y, yo-yo. And Z, zebra. And today we're on our last theme for letter T. We're still talking about letter T. We're going to talk about trees today. Okay, well, let's do our season song. Who am I going to get to help? I think Antonio. Come on, Antonio. Come on up. You're going to help us do the season song. So when we do our season song, we're really singing head, shoulders, knees, and toes, but we put our months of the year on there. So our months of the year are spring, summer, fall, and Antonio can't do winter, so I'll do it, and winter. All right, are you ready? Let's say our seasons. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. These are the seasons of the year. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. Super duper fast, Antonio, can you do it? Oh, you're doing it so fast I can't even see. All right, so now we're on a new season. Right now, the season wheel is pointing to fall, when the leaves change colors and fall from the trees. Is that what's happening right now, Antonio? No. So let's see, can you point to the right season? Do you think you could do it? I think he can. Here he goes. We're gonna move the arrow and point it to spring! It's spring, hooray! Yes, it is spring. Thanks, Antonio. Good job. All right, well, let's move on. Let's do count by tens. Oh, shout out to Gavin. He was supposed to help with our seasons. And now let's move on to count by tens. Tristan was supposed to be our helper today. Hey, Tristan. All right, let me get a new wand. Do this one. And let's count by tens. I can count by tens. Ready now, let's go. I can count by tens. Here I go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. All right, let's count by tens. Let's move on. We'll say hi to Grayson, and we're going to do our vowels. We need vowels in words. Vowels are in every word, and the vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. And sometimes the letter Y makes a vowel sound. So sometimes the letter Y makes a I sound, and sometimes it makes an E sound. But we see the letter Y in a lot of words, and sometimes they make the vowel sound. Okay, well, let's see. Antonio, why don't you help me? Antonio, can you point toward the vowel that makes an sound? Let's see, Antonio, can you do it? Yes, the O makes an sound. How about the letter sound That one's easy. The A. Oh, the A goes The A goes The little A's a circle with a stick right after that. That's a letter A sound. All right. What else, Antonio? Can you point to the letter that makes an Yes. E makes like elephant. And how about an sound, like igloo? Yes. And last one, the letter we're going to talk about next week. The letter that makes the sound like in the word umbrella. Good job, Antonio. All right, let's move on to weather. Okay, Antonio, I'm going to put you back for a second so I can do the weather. So let's look over here at our weather song. Now, there's a lot of words that are circled, and those are our sight words. They're words that my students have been working on this year, different words that they're supposed to be learning. So we've talked about the a lot, but let's look at the word is. This is the word is. It's an I and an S, is. And we see that word a lot in this song. And also, let's look at the word it. That's a pretty easy word to read. We know I makes an sound, and T makes a t. So you put the sounds together, it. And we'll see that word a lot in this song. So see if you can find those sight words as I'm pointing to each word. What's the weather like today? Look outside, what do you say? Is it chilly? Is it warm? Is it windy? Will it storm? Aiden, tell me right away, what's the weather like today? And shout out to Aiden. Hi, Aiden. And I'm going to look out the window. Our flag isn't there anymore. They took it down. So we'll just have to look at what other things we see out the window. All right, let's see what we got. Well, I see a lot of sunshine out there, so I know I'm going to be picking the sunny word. And let's see. I don't know if I could see any branches blowing. It doesn't seem to be windy outside. But it was a little cold today, so I think I'm going to pick that word too. All right, so I'm going to add the word sunny, which begins with the letter S. And where is it? Oh, cold. And there's the word cold. All right, good job. Okay, well, today we are talking all about trees. So I was going to read you this story. It is called A Tree is Nice. Trees are very nice. They fill up the sky. They go beside the rivers and down the valleys. They live up on the hills. Trees make the woods. They make everything beautiful. And you can see all the different trees. There's all different kinds of trees in the woods. Even if you have just one tree, it is nice too. A tree is nice because it has leaves. The leaves whisper in the breeze all summer long. And what do you think this tree is doing for the horse? I don't know if you can tell, but I think that this tree is giving shade to the animal. So if it's ever really sunny outside, you can go under a tree and that'll keep you cooler because the sun isn't on you. It provides shade. So you can see this is the shadow of the tree, and that's where the horse is. He must be hot. A tree is nice because it has a trunk. The trunk is a big part up the middle, and limbs. Limbs are the big branches. We can climb the tree and see over the yards. We can sit on a limb and think about things, or play pirate ship in the tree. Have you ever climbed a tree? I did when I was little. If it is an apple tree, we can climb it to pick the apples. And maybe in the fall, you could do that with your mom or your dad or your grandma or your grandpa. You can go apple picking. Cats get away from dogs by going up the tree. Birds build nests in the trees and live there. Sticks come off the trees too. We draw in the sand with sticks. I was looking in my backyard yesterday, and there's all kinds of sticks that are laying all over my yard because over the winter, all the sticks got blown down, and now they're on the ground. And it's where I've seen cats run up trees and squirrels you see in trees. So animals that are trying to get away from other animals may run up there as fast as they can to protect themselves. A tree is nice to hang a swing in or a basket of flowers. It's a good place to lean your hoe while you rest. And this little boy looks like he was working in the garden. And this instrument is called a hoe, and you use it in the garden. So he rested his hoe against the tree. And now, what do you think he's doing? I think he's taking a nap. A tree is nice because it makes shade. The cows lie down in the shade where it is hot. Looks like lots of animals like to protect themselves from the sun by going under trees. People have picnics there too, and the baby takes his nap in his buggy in the shade. That's an old-fashioned word, buggy. That's another word for stroller. A tree is nice for a house to be near. The tree shades the house and keeps it cool. So the tree actually keeps the house cooler because it provides shade. The tree holds off the wind and keeps the wind from blowing the roof off the house sometimes. You see the dog in there? He's in his little dog house. It's windy out. A tree is nice to plant. You dig the bigger hole you can and put the little tree in. Then you pour in lots of water and then the dirt, and you hang the shovel back in the garage. And every day for years and years, you watch the little tree grow. You say to people, I planted that tree. That's a fun activity to do. Maybe sometime you can plant a tree. It's real important to plant trees. They help our earth. And then you can watch it. Take pictures. Make sure you take pictures if you ever plant a tree. And then every year you can stand by that tree and see how much the tree grew. They wish they had one, so they go home and plant a tree too. Well, that's nice. So this book again, A Tree is Nice, and the author was Janice May Udry. And the illustrator was Mark Simont. That's a nice book. All right, well today I have lots of fun planned. The first thing we're going to be doing is making a craft with our hands. Now, if you're in my class, Mrs. Hamilton gave you a piece of brown paper, but you could probably make a tree even if you're not in Mrs. Hamilton's class. There's lots of ways you could do it. But the first thing you need to do is trace your hand. Trace your hand and part of your arm to make the trunk and then the limbs of the tree. So I'm going to do that, and I'll show you guys a trick. So you don't even need to trace the arms. I mean, you can just go sideways. Maybe it would be better for Mom or Dad helped. And then you go around the fingers, but don't go too tight. Try and make it a little bigger than they are. That's a trick Mrs. Hamilton has learned. Because otherwise, it's too skinny. It's too hard to cut out. Oh, great. Oh, okay. I can still see it. I made this kind of thin so it doesn't fit Mrs. Hamilton's hand. I don't know if you'll be able to cut this out by yourself. Maybe you'll have a mom or a dad or a grandma help you. But you gotta stay right in the lines. And then you're gonna end up with a tree. So this is gonna be the trunk and the branches, your fingers. And if you have a smaller hand than Mrs. Hamilton did, Mrs. Hamilton's hand is big, you can open your fingers up and it will look more like a real tree. But I was kind of limited with my paper, so I'm turning the paper. That's how I tell my students to cut. You have to turn the paper not the scissors. It makes it so much easier to cut. Voila! And then I'll do this last little part. And there's my handprint. So I'm going to glue that on this piece of paper. So add a little glue and make sure you put the glue on each finger so it's not sticking up. Put the glue, push really hard. There. And then you can add things to make this look like a tree. You could use paint if you want. If you have green paint, you can take your finger and dip it in the paint and make green leaves. Or you can just use crayons or markers to decorate it. I'm thinking about what kind of tree I want to make. I'll color it and then I'll show you what my tree looks like. But you can make your tree any way you want. Maybe you want to make a summer tree where there'd be lots of green leaves. Or maybe you want to make a fall tree when the leaves are different colors like red and orange and yellow and brown. It's your choice. Just make it any way you want. That's what makes it special. What kind of tree do you think Mrs. Hamilton's going to make? I don't know. I can't wait to see. I'm going to make one too. All right, friends. Well, I finished my tree. Here it is. So you can decorate yours any way you want. I just decided to make an apple tree. And that's using my handprint. So it's a special tree. And then, once you're finished, you can write the word tree. I'm going to write it on the board so you can see what it looks like. All right, so to make the word tree. Whoops. You just make a T. You pull a line down and a line across the middle. That's the T. It's a pretty easy letter to make. R is a little trickier. Make a line down, go back up and around. Now the E, that one's a really tricky one. We learned a song to help us. The tricky little letter E, letter E, letter E goes E. Dance by the light of the moon. Make a straight line across, go up and around, up and around, up and around. Make a straight line across and up and around. That's how you make the small E. So this is the word tree, T-R-E-E, tree. Give it a try, see if you can write it. Beep boop. All right, well, I had a couple more activities for my students today. The first thing they were going to do is look at this page. It says, "Thank you, God, for creating trees." And it shows all these different kinds of trees. There's an apple tree, and this looks like a fall tree, and this is like an evergreen tree, a Christmas tree, and here's a tree with oranges growing on it, and here's a tree with bananas that grow on it. Did you know there's such a thing as a banana tree? I saw a real one once when I was in Hawaii. And then the last one is an apple tree. So down here it says, my favorite. And even if you don't have this sheet, you can draw a tree. I bet you don't think you can, but you can. It's really simple. So I'll show you. I'll use my board. Now I have a board, a special board, but if you have an iPad or something at home, you could draw on paper. And what Mrs. Hamilton uses in her class a lot is this app called Doodle Buddy. And if you install that, it's really fun. You can make words and you can do things right on your iPad with your finger. So maybe I'll draw a tree on the iPad first, because you might not think I can make a tree, but I'll show you how easy it is. So using this button here, it says color. I'm going to pick a color. Ooh, I want brown, but I don't know where brown is. Oh no. No! I need a brown for a tree trunk. Oh, now look, to make a trunk, you just really need to make 2 straight lines down like that. That's easy. Like 2 ones. And then to make a top, you would need green. Watch this. I'm just going to make a circle. So really, I think anyone could draw a tree. It's a circle and 2 straight lines. And then you can color it in. You can make it all green. Or if you want to add some apples, like an apple tree, just do that. So drawing really isn't that hard. All right, so my students were just going to draw a tree here, and you can do that on a piece of paper or an iPad. And remembering that God creates all things, so he made the trees. And then on this page, there were just things that you could finish coloring in, like the doghouse and the fence and the tree and the sun. It's just something extra to do. All right, and then the last thing that my friends were going to do today, they work in these little journals, and every Friday they get to draw the uppercase letter and the lowercase letter. And I've been teaching my class how to use lines, so I'm going to show you some lines on my board that I make. Okay, so when you're writing, if you're writing on real paper, you usually have lines that are called guiding lines that help you. So there's a blue line that goes across the top. And then there is a dotted line. And the dotted line shows you where the middle of the letter would be. And then the last one is like a reddish line. Sometimes it's pink too. Oh, and I need a solid line. All right. And that shows you where the letter ends. So in my children's journals today, they're going to write first uppercase T's. So this is how you make an uppercase T. Let's pretend that's our pencil. You start at the blue line, and you go down, whoops, and stop at the red line. And then you make a line across the top. And that's how you make an uppercase T. Let me erase my mistake here. All right, let's make another one. Straight line down, start at the blue line, stop at the red line, and then make a line at the cross. So my friends are going to make a whole row of T's, and I tell them you only need to make about 4 because you should have spaces in between your letters. So 4 of those, and then underneath, they're going to make lowercase on the next line. Here's my book. So uppercase ones across the top, and then maybe 4 lowercase. And lowercase are pretty easy too. You make a straight line down, starting at the top, just like the uppercase. But now it's time to use that middle line, and you make the line across, just like that. So start at the blue line, stop at the red line, and then a line across the middle. And there, you have lowercase t's. And then Mrs. Hamilton wrote in my children's journals, T is for tree. Well, we all know that they're experts at making trees now because you just make those 2 straight lines down for the trunk and then the tree at the top. Or maybe there's a different way that you can draw a tree. I know I have some pretty creative children in my class, so I'd be interested to see when we get back to school what their tree looks like. So that's all Mrs. Hamilton had planned for today. We made uppercase T's and lowercase t's and made a tree with our hands and colored our favorite color tree. So I hope you enjoyed learning with me today. And next time I see you, we're going to say goodbye to letter T. Goodbye, T. And I'm going to hang it on the wall. And then we're going to move on to our next letter in the alphabet, letter U. So I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.